Hello friends and welcome back to my shop. In this video we finally have all the parts made for the EDC Bolt and we can put it together and see what it looks like. So let's get right into it. The first step I'm doing here is hitting the front face of the pocket clips with some 220 grit sandpaper just to kind of give it a satin finish. I'd cut it with end mill. I should have cut it with a fly cutter. It left a tooling marks I wasn't super keen on, and I know when I anodize they're going to stand out more and I didn't want them to, so I also didn't know if I was going to tumble these at the time, so I just decided to get it a satin finish right off the jump, and then I can choose what I want to do down the line. Also using some different styles of rubber abrasives and whatnot to knock off some minor secondary burrs that the chamfer op raised. It's a little Proxon 12 volt micro mote deburring tool, rotary tool. Way nicer than the Dremels, I find. I mean, it's not like a brushless deburring system, but it's like 10 times cheaper than a brushless deburring system, so it's what I'm using for right now. It's also very, very quiet and has no vibration, so that's really important on small parts like this. My Dremel seems to rattle around, so I like this a lot better. Next step is going to be assembling the pens before we do a full final finish. These ones are actually built in part, so I build the body, then the tip, then the cap, then the blah 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 blah. I never actually put it together to make sure everything fits. I mean, it should. CAD says it should, and I've hit all my dimensions I wanted to hit, so just a little sanity check before we really get into it, and spoiler alert, everything fits just fine. The stock finish on these, this is just a light polish, a satin finish. I really enjoy it, even without any anodizing or anything. It's got a really nice look. I like the natural titanium and natural stainless look. We're gonna anodize it because why not? It's fun. But just in its raw form, it still has a really, really nice look. Next up, pop the parts into my little vibratory tumbler, add a little bit of water and a little bit of soap just to help with the cutting action and keeps kind of the grit from sticking to the parts. And then we're gonna let them roll for 4 hours, 6 hours. I just want to break all the, or micro break the edges, just not really changing the tolerance, but just want it to feel nice in your hand, and then scuff the parts up uniformly so they're less susceptible to scratching in the future. Plus, when you anodize after a tumble, you get kind of a nice matte finish. It doesn't pop as much as a polished finish, but it looks pretty good. I'm a big fan of it. I'll do a bunch of variants down the road, but these ones I just chose to tumble. That's a ceramic media I'm using as well. Seems to work good on stainless titanium. Next is the anodizing. Here, I thought I'd get smart. I'm using a little, you can see on the top right there, it's a battery voltage, a lithium battery charger, but it has the option to output variable voltage and current. I thought I could use it for this purpose, which would be perfect because it's like super adjustable, but it needs to see a connection before it'll output any voltage. It wants to check to make sure you have everything set right. And obviously in this process it's essentially open, so not going to work. I have an option down the road to make it work better. I'm going to probably use a variac and a rectifier, but for right now we're going to go with the old 9-volt battery method, which surprisingly works very well, especially if you just want to do kind of the lower voltage colors. It's not an issue. You want to start doing the greens, you gotta change your process because you need almost 100 volts, but for the low voltage colors this works just fine. We're going to do the 001, which is the first pen. We're going to do that one in blue, and then we're going to do the mini in purple. So I'm just going, this is the first one we're doing, so we're doing this one blue, and then we'll change the voltage up so we can get to the purple color. Anodizing is still magic to me. I know how it works, it still boggles my mind. Next thing I got to do is get some titanium wire as well. You can't put steel in the anodizing bath. It kind of messes with the whole anodizing process. So in this method I'm kind of changing clips and using pen bodies and whatnot to get all the bits into the anodizing bath. Some titanium wire would make it so much easier. I could just string the parts up, dunk them in, and be good to go. That's what I'm going to be doing going forward, but for onesie twosies right now, this works just fine. Here we're doing those tumbled purple parts. Purple's neat because it's not like super punchy right out of the bath, but once it dries and once the water comes off the part, then it shines, or then it's a lot more vibrant. I like purple, so That's the one I'm doing. I like purple and blue. Gold's actually pretty cool too. It just looks like brass. I have to always tell people, like, no, this is titanium. But they're like, what? Because it looks exactly like brass. Depends what you're into. I mean, I'm gonna do all kinds of different colors, but purple and blue they're always my favorite. And green. Just moving the parts around, trying to clear any air bubbles, just to get a full anodize, inside and out. Inside technically is not really required, but I don't know, just felt like doing it. I'm also going to put magnets into the ends of these pens. I have an idea going forward for a kind of a cool magnetic stand, and in order to kind of not shoot people in the foot that buy my early pens, I want to make them backwards compatible, so everything's getting magnets. So I'm just pressing little neodymium magnets into the end caps. Thankfully the tolerance on those magnets I bought are perfect, so I didn't have to use any Loctite or anything, just a nice press fit, worked perfectly. And here's the final assembly stage. So fun seeing everything put together. I'm wearing gloves. These are my pens. I technically don't have to wear gloves. It feels so strange. I never assemble pens without gloves, so if I don't wear them now, I feel like I'm like two left hands or something weird. Such a satisfying process when everything goes together well. Yeah, I'm a fan. That acid etch looked super cool, and the tumbled finish is really nice as well. I like them all. I would have just a stack of them, all kinds of different ones. Here you can see my little magnetic stand holder idea. I'm gonna have a few options. I think I'll have maybe a machined option, a laser cut option, maybe a 3D printed option people could do themselves. Just kind of a cool desk showpiece when it's not in your pocket. Especially being able to spin it, having like a hard surface. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I am so happy those pens are finally done. Now I can work on building a bunch more, which oddly enough is this thing I like. Most people like to research and develop and process down the road. I just like making things over and over. I like tweaking with the production styles and making it better. I don't know. That's my jam, so I like it. We got the two flavors. We got the little mini. We got the big one. Probably a couple finish options. This will be tumbled, or sorry, acid etched. This one will be tumbled in varying forms. A few different anodizing colors. I'll have more anodizing color pictures up probably on my Instagram or in coming week videos. Eventually, I'll have a form up where you can kind of request if you're into these pens. If you're not, just watch. That's cool too. But if you are, you can fill out a form and it'll basically just give me an idea of what people are interested in. Like, hey, everybody wants minis that are purple or green or whatever. And it just lets me kind of scale or lets me plan out my production a little bit better, as opposed to just me making what I think looks cool. Although I have some really cool ideas that I'm pumped to make as well. It feels so weird handling these without gloves on now. These are mine. I just assembled them and cleaned them, and then I don't know, it feels weird. Anyway, pay no attention to the finger. For the amount of sharp things I have in my workshop here, I like carbide and high-speed steel. I don't have a lot of high-speed steel, but lots of razor sharp things, including razor blades. I cut my hands on a frickin' spray bottle of WD-40. I was opening it, and whoever made the threads on it made them razor sharp, and I cut my fingers on those. I don't know why. Anyways, thought you should know. Yeah, I'm super pumped with these. Oh. And I made the stick out as long as I possibly could. I've got lots of comments about that. So. Oh. Love that. Love that. Magnet in the end, you can see why. I got ideas going on. I think that'd be really cool. Anyway, I'm rambling. Thank you guys so much for watching. Yeah. I don't know. I got nothing more to say. In the coming weeks, I'll have more videos on how I'm going to handle a lot of the production. Majority of it, for the first batch at least, probably most of it will be on my lathe. My mill is probably more precise and more rigid, so right now I'm working on gang tooling setup for my mill so it can actually do mill turning. That's going to be the far more efficient way to make these. So that's kind of, I'll try to eke more of that into the coming weeks videos. And that'll kind of hopefully be more of a one and done kind of thing. I can load bodies up and just let them rip. It's not like the lathe is difficult, but to scale, it's not the most conducive way to do it. Especially the drilling and stuff. It's all hand drilling. Rambling. More on that later. Thank you guys Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye.